So good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining webinar uh, at this time. And basically, the timing is an issue for you and for us also. But the ma'am is speaking from Canada, and it's early morning 7 there. So you have to cooperate with us little bit regarding the timings because it is not our hand to see the timings. Okay, we are giving the most visible timings. Uh, so, first of all, I would like to give a brief introduction about ma'am, as you are able to see the screen also. So, ma'am is Dr. Smriti Chand, and she had done her BVSc from GBP UAT Pantnagar. She had done her masters in veterinary microbiology from IVR Nagar. After that, she had worked as a young professional in a project. So she worked on blue tongue virus during her project. Now she is in University of Saskatchewan in Canada. So she is doing her PhD in vaccinology and immunotherapeutics, and she would be sharing her experiences and what all the things she had been gone through during this preparation time, how she has managed to find a PhD position with her job. She will share her whole experiences. So let it over to the ma'am. Thank you. So good evening, ma'am.
Good evening to all. Thank you. Am I audible to all?
Yes, ma'am. If you can speak a bit louder, then it will be more clear.
Yeah, sure, sure. Good evening to all. Thank you, Shubham, for the introduction. Uh, as See, the thing is, the major part of the this procedure of getting a master's and PhD in Canada, I think everyone would have gone through the webinar of Dr. Veena, I guess. So it actually has been covered by Veena in her presentation. So I won't be repeating on those aspects again. Uh, Rather, I would like to focus on some of the basics of the procedures in which the students usually face a problem, and I would like to share my experience, that what I did and what was I facing while going through this journey. So it will be a type of a short informal talk. So going on with the presentation, the first thing that we need to know is that in Canada, the graduate education is either course based or thesis based. See, for the course based, you have to enroll for a set of courses, and then you need to get grades in them, and then you get the degree. For the thesis based courses, what you need to do is you will be having a few courses, like one, there may be one or two courses that you need to complete, and the more focus of here will be on your research, like and this and when talking about a PhD, you usually do a thesis based program over here. When coming to masters, it might be course based and thesis based, but since we are into research, so what I believe that the thesis based programs are more important for us, because they actually guide us to get a PhD in that particular university if we want it further. S- So now coming to how to proceed to get a position in a position in a particular university. So first, the first thing is that we need to plan ahead. I would say we need to plan much ahead and make the thing clear in your mind that that you want to do the masters or PhD from a foreign university, because there are many things that need to be followed after that, and so your vision needs to be clear. And once you are clear with it, then comes the aspect of subject choice, which actually means, sorry, this then comes a subject choice, which actually will decide whether you are which subject you will be going into. See, since we are veterinarians, we have a variety of subjects which we have learned in our bachelor's. So it's a plus point for us that we can venture into any subject. So for the master student, he can decide that which subject he wants to go into. See, for a PhD, the thing is that it's your choice whether you want to stick with your subject and go for research into that, or you can even go into the subject not sticking to veterinary, you can even go into the human research area, since the basic techniques that you have been learning in your masters will are actually more of importance. like, because here the thing is that techniques are looked into, not like your a degree program or something like that, but your basic techniques matter a lot. So once you are done with it, one more thing I want to tell is that uh, this is the subject choice also depends on that, like what you need to do after your once your degree gets completed. Means like what you want after that, whether you want to come back to India and pursue your further career in India, or you want to settle in Canada. Because for that, this is where the subject choice comes. Because if you want, because as far as I know, that there is a thing that if you want to after your PhD, if you want to come back to India, then your subject should be the same in which you did your masters. You can't change your subject, because in India it's something like your subject matters a lot. But for settling in Canada, you can actually change your subject. Like, it depends, like because you will get a lot of opportunities over here for the job, so you can change your subject. Since in my case, I did my masters in veterinary microbiology and my specialization was in virology. But right now I'm doing my PhD in vaccinology and immunotherapeutics, and I feel that this field is much more I mean, it needs much to explore this field more, and especially during this pandemic area. So that's my choice actually. So once you are done with the subject choice, you need to search for the universities. So there is a QS ranking for the universities, and they revise the ranking of universities every year, and they have a set criteria for that. So you can go there and search for, like, if it's if a place is your preference, so you can search like which universities are in Canada, so they give a ranking accordingly. So there are few universities which actually provide research of both in masters and PhD in Canada, and they are like University of Guelph, University of Saskatchewan, University of Calgary, and University of Prince Edward Island. And there are a few other universities as well which provide you veterinary research. But when you go into, but these are the universities which are top leading ones. See, one more thing is there that if your subject is a choice, like for me, since it's for veterinary microbiology, but I found that it was only the University of Saskatchewan which was providing a degree in veterinary microbiology. In University of Guelph, in University of Calgary, it was actually in conjunction with pathology. So the subject of as a single subject of veterinary microbiology is not there. There's a subject called veterinary pathobiology, which includes both pathology, microbiology, and virology. So this you need to think of. Then once you are done with the subject choice and your preferred university, then you need to search for the faculty in that university website. There will be an I mean, the faculty, it will be mentioned the research area of the faculty, and that's very important for you, because you need to correlate their research interest and what you are into, like your interest into their research area. So this is very important for you. The second thing that's mentioned is the academic credentials. I would say the faculty's academic credentials, like when you go through it, then you come to know that where did they study, like you come to know about their aspects as well. So that is a bit more helpful for you to search for more. And then comes the research interest. Yeah, as I say that like a particular professor would be working on a particular virus. Now it's my like my choice. I'll be searching for that, what are the things going on, what is the current scenario of that research in that area, so whether I want to work or not. So that will actually help me to decide which, with which professor I want to work. Then comes the list of publications. They'll be mentioned a list of their publications. You can go to the PubMed, search for them, and you should actually, before contacting a supervisor, you should actually go through their publication and get to know that what is the thing that is going on in their lab, what are they working on, because this actually helps you to structure your mail. And actually this gives an impression to the professor that you are like you have already done your background check and you know what is the thing. So that helps. The next thing is now you need to contact the supervisor through a mail, and you need to add a CV, your CV as along with it. So this, I would be telling a short thing about how to frame a mail and what is an effective CV, because although many of the students know about it, but since there are still few students who find it quite difficult for them to how to go along with this. Um, The next, another thing is that there are a few masters and PhD positions which are available in the university website. Usually, the principal investigators, they release these positions well before in advance, the starting of the uh, positions. So you can even apply for those positions as well. Next comes how to structure a mail. Many of you would have already mailed many professors and got responses as well, but since it's a need, it's the main thing, it's the first thing that makes your impression to a professor. So I would like to tell a bit about this. Yes, first thing is that your mail, it should include a strong and attractive subject line. See, the thing is, you should not go here, like I mean, move about here and there. Straight away, strictly go to the point and say it. The subject should be clear enough. Then comes the introduction. Your introduction should give a short summary of you, like your achievements, like your the native country, then your achievements, like what is your education qualification, and whether your research qualification match up with the position which you are applying for. So these things you need to give a short description of that. Then you also need to address the professor's research, and and tell which might be telling that why do you want to work under that particular area, and with his research group. And you should even highlight your eagerness to get the PhD position with the scholarship in his lab. And after this, there comes a body paragraph in which you need to elaborate every aspect of this, like your particular achievements, and including your research skills and all. And along with the professor's aspect, you need to elaborate a bit. Then at the end, you can add up something like which should make sure that you are actually enthusiastic and motivated to actually work under that professor group. And one more thing is that since I told you, you need to go through the publications, so you will be you should highlight something from their work which will actually be a sort of like, that thing is the thing that actually fascinated you, that inspired you to join their research group. So this is the way the things can be done. So I think this will help you a bit. Now, see then how to write an effective CV. See, your CV is that is actually describes you as a person and you as a researcher. So this CV will be the thing that will actually, the professor will think that yeah, this person is good for this position. So that needs to be very structured and in a proper format. So it should be divided into different sections. The first is your contact information, which includes your name, your address, and the contact details. And then comes, which also includes your personal profile as well. And then is your education achievements, and this includes your mainly the professional education qualification you need to mention, and the duration, the GPA score, and everything. That thing I think everyone knows about it. And some academic achievements can also be added into it, like any other scholarships or achievements that you might have achieved during your study period. Then you need to add your research background. It should include all those techniques that you would have learned in your research work, and all the work projects or the research work that you have done. And this will actually add up more to your CV. This will actually build a strong CV. The next thing is whether you have done any work, like sometimes the students do join a short project or short workshops, so that can be added into the work experience section. Then comes the publications and conferences. See, the one of the main important aspect of this is that you should have a publications as a first author, which is very important, because your work will only be considered when it's published in a peer reviewed journal. So if you have any publications and you have attended all the conferences, whatever in your undergraduation, in your masters, so you need to add that. Then comes the professional memberships. These things will actually give an impression of an overall development of yours, your participation in the co-curricular activities. So this will help. The next comes the last thing, that is the references. The references would be some of the professors, or it can be even your guide with whom you have worked in a masters, and who are willing to provide you a letter of recommendation, because that is the thing that is very important for you. And so you need to talk to them before like you are planning to do a PhD or a masters, and so that they can provide you a good letter of recommendation. So, and even they can be even contacted by the university, so you need to be very sure that with whose name you want to enter into it. Now, coming to the funding opportunities, see, when you are accepted into a position, it's sure that you will be provided a funding by a supervisor. Here in Canada, they don't ask you to work, and they don't claim work from you without paying you. So it's always you'll always be provided with the funding. And here there's a tri-agency funding which includes the NSERC, CIHR, and SSHRC, through which these supervisors are getting the funding. They actually write grant proposals and mm, uh, to obtain the funding from them. So a part of that funding is actually provided to the student for his scholarships. And there are many other scholarships, bursaries, and awards which are available time to time in the university for the students. And you can actually approach to them, or you can apply for them on the basis of your grades and your scores once you are entering into the university. And there is also an opportunity for you to gain a teaching assistantships over here. These teaching assistantships will actually help you not only to gain some extra money, but also it will provide you an experience of teaching as well. And this I have seen that in some of the master's courses, this teaching assistantship is actually compulsory for the student. They need to complete it either in their first term or second term, and so it's actually a plus point for you. Then in Canada, you can actually go for some part-time jobs, and you are paid on the basis of hours you work. And once you get a study permit in Canada, you actually get a permit for 20 hours of work over here. So you can think of that. But I would say that going for a part-time job, it all depends upon your willingness and your the whether you get the time for that or not. So, and one more thing, that these funds, that the whatever we are getting, these are actually enough for your tuition fees and the cost of living. See, this is also in Canada. This is also based on the province where this university is located. Like um, like I'm in Saskatoon, so here the expenses are not that much. I mean, it's an average. So whatever the funding we are receiving, and it's actually helpful for both paying my tuition fees and for the living expenses over here. And when talking about like University of Guelph, it's in Ontario, so Ontario is a bit expensive. So you will be getting a more amount of funds as compared to over here, but the expenses would be similar. So in a nutshell, whatever fundings you are getting, it will be spent by you. You don't need to get extra I mean, you don't need some finances from your family, and that is the main thing we are thinking of. Like, okay, what are the various requirements for an application? The first thing is your GPA score. For your bachelor's and master's, whatever the GPA score you get, that is an Indian system. So when you have to apply for here, so what they do is that these universities convert that GPA score into their system. They have some mathematical formula for that, and so you need to fulfill that criteria. Like in University of Saskatchewan, uh, GPA score, the minimum GPA score for getting a PhD is 8 out of 10. So that thing is there. See, one more thing is there, that if your score does not match up to getting a PhD position, like if you're applying for a PhD, so it's not a problem, because here what is done that you might be getting a master's over here. Like you were looking for you already did your master's, you were looking for a PhD, but you got enrolled into a master's. Your supervisor accepted you as a master's student based on because your GPA score was not getting to that level. So but what you'll do, you'll for 1 year you'll be a master's student, you'll be completing your courses according to that, and based upon your performance and your score level, for the next year your supervisor will convert you into a PhD student. So there's no loss in that, because your first year of masters will be counted as the first years of PhD. So it's actually I mean there's no loss in that, neither for a year and neither for anything like your degree as well. And the next thing that is important is the English language proficiency test. You can either give IELTS, TOEFL, or Duolingo online test as well. But I would say that you should go either for IELTS or TOEFL, because I think because for the visa application you need both of these. Duolingo, I don't think that it is accepted for the visa application. And for the English language proficiency, you should plan before, well before, because since you are planning it that you need to do masters, so the validity for this exam is 2 years. So you need to think about that when you need to give the exams. And however, few of the university, like in University of Saskatchewan, it's like that. If you are you have already done your masters and bachelors in English, so maybe your supervisor won't ask you to get a English language proficiency test. That's one thing. But I would suggest you that you should always go for this exam, because maybe somewhere or the other, because for the visa you need it, so you should go for that. Then comes the letter of recommendation. So you should have at least three letter of recommendation from your, I mean, your mentor, your any professors with whom you have professional contact, and you should try to talk them beforehand that you need this, so that at the time of application you don't rush for those things. Okay, so now the applications for usually these university, they intake the students in two terms. That is the fall, which starts in September, and the second one is the in winter, which starts in January. So you should go to the university's website and check that what are the deadlines for the application. So this means that you need to plan well before in advance. Like for the for the September session, you need to uh, prepare by December itself that I need to go this, and so that I'll get a position by the fall term. And usually these the deadlines are usually a month before the starting of the term, so you need to think of that. Now, what happens after acceptance? See, once you are accepted into the program, so you'll be receiving, and your application is done. So you'll be receiving a letter of acceptance from the university. This letter of acceptance will include your program, which program you are enrolled into, and your details of the student, and some details regarding everything. Like it actually includes, because they have accepted you as a student, so they will provide you an ID in all other things of the university. So it's an access for you to that you are as a student of this university now. And the second thing is they'll provide you a funding letter. The funding letter will include that this is your funding, like per year you'll be receiving this amount, and it may also include the uh, the conditions for your hours of working. Like usually you have to work 5 days a week, and weekends, Saturday, Sundays are holidays. But that actually depends upon your supervisor, because after entering into the university and joining a lab, before that you need to sign a student and advisor agreement. And so, and these both of these letter of acceptance and funding letter, they are also helpful for your visa application, because you need to give a proof of financial support in your visa. So the funding letter is very important for that, which will actually prove that you are you yourself are sufficient for your expenses. I mean, the funding is sufficient for your expenses to live in here in Canada during your study period. The next thing is that you should get your officially verified transcripts and degree certificate from the universities, like your bachelor's or your master's college. You need to get, and this you can get only after you get your letter of acceptance. So the college would have a procedure for that, so you need to think about that, because that will actually take a more lot of time. They provide you it in a sealed envelope, like that. And because of the COVID, actually nowadays the universities are even accepting the mail from the concerned college. So that is more easier than sending them by a post and spending a lot of money on that. So you need to think of this, because this also takes time. Then comes the application for visa. The visa application, it requires all of your documents, like your letter of acceptance, your funding, financial support letter, and your passport. And it would require it requires a client information, in which you need to add the statement of purpose along with all your academic documents. And that statement of purpose actually tells that why you want to study in Canada, and why did you choose this university, why did you choose this program, and what are your future plans. So I think this application for visa actually needs a different presentation. So in a nutshell, it's actually like this. And see, now coming to my experience, now what I have experienced throughout this journey was that first thing you need to do is you should have a clear vision. See, you should be focused, and for this, and you should make a clear decision that you want to do a PhD or masters from a foreign university, because this decision actually requires deciding many other things as well. The first thing is that you are living in India, and you will be coming from there to a different country, a different setting altogether. There's a cultural change over here, so you need to accept that. The second thing is that mm, this also includes your family as well, because your family should be supporting you, that you will be going outside studying there for a few years, like your 4 years. So that uh, actually needs to be clear for you, that you will be staying away from your family. So I mean to say that you should have a clear vision, your decision should be firm. And second thing is, you should prepare well in advance. Like I told you, if you're in a whether you're master's or your bachelor's, you need to prepare for this from your final year, because once you get your degree and then you decide that now I'm going to go for either PhD or master's, so it will lose a lot of time, because these things need a lot of preparation. As I told you, that you need to go through, you need to start searching for universities, contact the faculty, send them mails. This process actually takes a lot of time, and getting a positive response is never easy. It's a very like a long process, and it requires a lot of patience. So what is that, you need to plan this quite well ahead. And this planning then actually also includes your IELTS exam as well, since you are planning and it's valid up to 2 years. So you can actually give the exam, so that because many of the what happens is that many of the professors, they respond you and they tell you that whether you are done with your English language proficiency, although they give you some time to complete it. And that's another thing, but that's actually a plus point for you if you have done already done that, so that they will immediately take you into that position. So these are the things. Next thing is that you should get involved into research. Since you are going out for a research, so you should have a background of research. When you are in a master's, you usually dedicate 1 year of your degree program into research. So that actually helps you to learn various skills. And but when you are in a undergraduate, you usually don't get any opportunities. But I say, whenever you get an opportunity to work in a project or join some lab and learn some research techniques, then you should go for that. And this will actually add up to your CV, because the thing is that the professors over here, they look for the uh, your techniques that you have learned. See, in my case, it was that I completed my masters in December, and it was quite late. I mean, I had already planned it. I had got a response from some of the professors as well. But since it was a time when I couldn't get entered into any other like university, because by that time the admissions are already closed, the deadlines are already closed. But I had got a response for the fall session and all. So what I did was that I dedicated my another 6 months into a research. I joined a lab, worked there as a young professional, and brushed up my skills and also learned many different skills as well, those basic techniques. And that thing actually helped me, because those things that I learned, actually I'll be using it over here. So I would say whenever you get a chance to get into a research, you should go for that, because that will actually help you and will actually add up to your CV and strengthen you up. And you can say, you'll be saying that, yeah, I am good for this position. The next thing is that you should publish your work. Yeah, this is the most important thing. Publications actually open opportunities. See, the thing is, you would be working hours in lab, doing I mean, dedicating your whole day in lab, day and night you'll be working. But the thing is, it's only considered when it is published in a, I mean, the thing is, the world will see your publications. You will be only judged on the basis of the publications you have. So your academic work you need to publish, and those publications usually should be in the first author publications. So you need to publish as much as you can. Like when you enter into your masters, you can start with the review papers, and then slowly when you complete your when you're about to complete your master's, you should already be preparing a manuscript about your work. And so these things, these all things that you need to actually talk to your uh, guide or to your supervisor beforehand, and that I need to do my master's of sorry, the PhD from outside. So what I need is, I need these papers, so they'll surely help. So this is very important for you. Now next thing is, you need to establish contacts. See, whenever, this is very important, because your seniors or any other person whom you know might be studying in a foreign university. So they might, when you contact them, that you are also planning to do the same. So they, when you contact them, they actually will provide you the ways, and also whenever there's a position available, so they will surely recommend you that you should join this. So this will actually help you in a way to get a position. Moreover, the when you're in a master's, so maybe your supervisor with whom you're working, he might have some contact in with someone in the university. So so that he will recommend you as a student if he has any positions. So that actually helps. And this the contacts, you can establish contacts via a platform that is LinkedIn, which is a very good platform, and it is a professional. So you can go into that. And because there are many, they they publish, or they present various, like, share different positions, like whenever they are open anywhere. So this actually helps. So I would say that this whole thing, this whole procedure is actually very like a long process. It requires a lot of efforts. You need to send mails, different mails, to the universities, to the professors. And uh, many of them won't even reply. Yeah, you would be like, at some point of time, you might be thinking that I have a mail and I'm not getting a response. Or maybe many of them would be giving a negative response to you, saying that at present I don't have any position. Yeah, it happens in that way. But the thing is, you don't need to get disheartened that, like, whether I'm doing whether I am I've decided something wrong or like that. It's not an easy process. You will not, it's a chance factor that whether you will be getting a response, a positive response, in just a single mail, or maybe you're sending hundreds of mails but you're not getting any response. This actually takes time, and it requires a lot of efforts, and your efforts will surely reward you, because through different efforts you get to learn many things. You might be your mail won't be proper, might be your CV might have some lacunae. And so you can actually, every time you'll learn the things. So I would say, for me, like, when I was I also got an opportunity to do my PhD from Belgium. And the thing was that, but the thing was, I actually wanted to explore more options as well. So getting an option, see that whether you can get some better option as well, so that you will have a different options and you can decide that where you want to go. So this is the thing. I mean, this is the way it is done, and yeah, it is a process. And I would say uh, this all needs the focused. This all needs the focused determination that you need to do go for it. So mm I mean, that needs everything, planning and everything. So I would end up my talk in this way, and I thank Vertigo's Advanced Learning for providing a platform to actually communicate with you all and share my experience. Although it was very short presentation, because all of the things are quite similar, and going repeating all those things will actually be a bit of monotonous. So rather than sharing my experience, was actually a bit fruitful for you as well. So, for any queries, you can contact me at my email ID. And now I would be happy for any comments or questions from the listeners.
Thank you, ma'am, for the very short and good presentation and sharing your wonderful experience. So there is one question in chat box that does one need to give English language proficiency test even if they are all if even they have already have a visa? Is it a requirement for just visa or do universities need test scores as well?
Actually, this actually depends upon university to university. Like, like as I said, that when you have done your graduation and your post graduation in English language, so few of the supervisors or professors, they actually don't ask you to give an IELTS exam. But I would say that you need to give an IELTS, because for the visa application, they ask the English language proficiency test. So in that way, you should give for a safer side.
Okay. Next question is by Dr. Parik. What are the job aspects, opportunities for a veterinary microbiologist after doing PhD in Canada?
Yeah. See, the thing is, you can actually over here you can join. In this area, there are many industries over here, so you can actually join them like as a researcher. And the here, I mean, there are a lot of things over here that you can join as after doing a PhD, because I don't think those many opportunities are there in our country. Here, since I'll be doing my PhD in this vaccinology. So in a vaccine industry, I can join there as a researcher. I can join as a researcher. So in that way, there are different opportunities as well. I
Okay.
mean, you can,
So,
yeah, you can.
yes, ma'am, you can continue.
Yeah, I am saying that you can actually come here and explore those things. And these things you should actually decide well before in hand. Like for me, it is like that. I'll be going for a postdoc after this. So these are the things that you can actually think of that way.
Okay. Okay. How did you get your supervisor for PhD, ma'am?
Actually, I went through these universities, these all which I was telling. Then I wanted to do actually in veterinary microbiology. So what happened was that I contacted all of the different super professors in that university, yes, just Saskatchewan. So what I got was that I contacted him through mail, and I got a response. Well, it was a quite late response, like many months later I got the response from them. And um, and he actually accepted me as a student, and then I came to know that I'll be working, because I was thinking of going for a veterinary microbiology, but he told me that you will be working on vaccinology and immunotherapeutics. And because this is actually more beneficial for me, because I'll be working in an international vaccine center over here where I'll be doing my research. So I was like, okay, this is more better than getting a microbiology. So I
Ma'am, how
mailed.
many acceptance did you get during your this process? How much mail?
Yeah,
What is the acceptance
I
rate?
mailed plenty of I mean, I mailed a lot. In Europe I had mailed in UK as well. But in UK there's a problem that you actually have to get funding by yourself. And I also found that in Europe as well, there were few. I mean, like the Belgium, that thing that I got. Actually, there was a problem of funding. They told me that you need to get funding from your country, and at that time, at the time of COVID, even the ICR fellowship was not
Yeah.
released. So
Yes.
that's the thing. That is the problem. Yeah, getting a funding from that is not actually impossible, but that is quite difficult. But that's the thing. And I got a lot of responses as well. Like few were like, we don't have a position, and few were telling me that like, since my somewhere even like, focusing on my basic research, because my master's was in a blue tongue virus. So they were uh, asking me to contact to the person, like this concerned person for that. So I would say I got a lot, like around 10 something. I got a response like that, and few were the negative ones, and few, yeah, were positive. Like they'll think of that and they'll think. But when I got this, because I was actually, my mind was clear that I want to go to Canada actually. So when I got this USA position, that was the thing that was something positive for me. So because
How
I
you
had
are
options.
tackling the negative responses? Like if you are getting
See,
a
the
negative
thing is,
response
yeah,
sometimes.
sure. Yeah. I understand. The thing is that you'll be getting a negative yeah, that's for sure. That's not no other way. You can't deny it. So what you need to do is that you need to think that, okay, might be I'm not into that position. Maybe because they are expecting more. See, one more thing, I gave an interview actually in another position, and what they were expecting for me, they asked many things, and I thought it's a bit positive. But the thing was, they asked a technique, particular technique, which actually I had not learned in my masters. So they wanted a person from that particular technique. So these all things, so you need not to get disheartened by that thing. Maybe your that thing is lacking because you had not done in your masters, so you cannot expect yourself to learn in a one just by reading or doing those things. So I would say that these actually gives you a positive motivation to learn more and to explore more things. So
Uh, like microbiology, research in microbiology has a
yeah,
huge difference from country to country due to the funding issues. So,
yeah.
like some of the techniques, even if you can't learn even in IVRE also, that is having a very
Yeah, that's
sophisticated.
for sure. Yeah.
Do they accept the students on the basis of the basic techniques, or just they are like, if you know that like there are some projects in which some hi-fi techniques are required, they consider some students with basic techniques or not? What
See,
was
the
your
thing is,
experience with that?
yeah, yeah. The thing is, they actually look into this aspect because, as far as I think, because the thing that I got in Belgium, they saw that I have done quite a lot because I got an opportunity to do my masters from IVRI. I was in Mukteshwar, so I got a chance to learn many techniques in my lab. So those for a microbiology person, the basic techniques are molecular biology techniques. The different you need to learn the protein purification, and all those things are basic techniques, and those are not actually that I think that those things you learn in your masters, you do when you are going into I mean doing your research. So those, they look into those techniques. While I was being judged for my CV in Belgium, they were asking me, they were quite happy that I had worked on a baculovirus. So these things actually, I was like that it was common over there working in baculovirus, and he was very happy. He asked me that whether you are getting those results in that virus, I mean whether you are getting the protein and all. So I would say there are it depends on that particular position as well. Like when see, when you apply for a position, like it's actually an advertisement that this position is available, so they actually demand you something. They ask, so you can actually try for that. But since a particular technique they are asking, so maybe you won't get into that. But as a general, I am telling that when you mail a supervisor, they usually look into the different techniques that you have learned, those basic techniques, because for a microbiology student the basic techniques are the thing that are positive for him, I mean if he has learned that.
So there are ample of job opportunities after doing masters, or doing PhD is necessary in Canada. You are just a master student, you can find ample opportunities on that. This is one more question
Okay,
asked
you're
by
saying
Dr.
that
Modi.
doing just masters would give you an ample opportunities.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
yeah, that actually is something like I personally feel that you should go for a PhD because that actually adds a plus point into your. I mean, like okay, you would be getting job. That's no problem in that. But once when because in masters you dedicate only your 1 year into a research, and for a PhD you are dedicating 4 years into research. So that when comes into a job, a master's or a PhD would be considered. I mean, he would have a plus point. So it's yeah, you can. I actually cannot. I mean, judge a master's student and a PhD student in this area, or but it's not the problem that you don't have opportunities. You have opportunities, but when coming to the same opportunity for a master's and PhD, a PhD would be preferred. That's similar as in India or anywhere else. Like,
So, is there any requirement to work in companies like pharma companies or pet food companies? They are after post graduation from India, or like any exam or licensing or something. Question is not clear. Can you write a what do you want to ask exactly? It is confusing.
actually, I'm a bit able to understand this thing. Like, actually, the person wants to ask that once you are done your masters in India, that whether you can, like in microbiology, whether you can work in a pharma company or
Right, food company. Okay, so like that.
yeah, a food company after getting a master's from India, like for the work. This actually, I'm not sure about this because since I was I'm a PhD, I wanted to do PhD, so I don't know about this. Sorry for that because whether you need some license or this, I don't know because I'm new into this area and I'm new into this place. So since
I think it
I
is,
just
ma'am, 7 or 8 days you had been
yeah,
landed to
it's just a
Canada.
7 days I've joined. I've not even joined my lab till now because there's some issue with that, and I'm just doing my courses right now. So I'm
Okay.
sorry for this that I don't know about it much right now.
So does fully funded PhD include the living cost as well? I think it is answered in the PPT. If not, what are the ways to pay your living expenses? Can we apply assistant professorship while doing PhD?
Sorry, please, can you just repeat once that question?
The question is that does fully funded PhD include the living cost as well? If not, what are the ways to paying your living expenses? Can we apply for assistant professorship while doing PhD?
See, yes, there's one thing I would say that your PhD fellowship is sufficient for you. As I told you, that it depends upon the province where you are university is located. So you'll be like in University of Guelph, you might be getting 34,000 per annum, but your expenses would be equivalent to that. So your cost of living and tuition fees would be covered by that. That thing you need to manage actually. And the second thing is yeah, you can apply for different scholarship. As I told you that different scholarships and awards are available time to time in the university, and these you would be eligible for that once you are done your first year. Like you'll be graded on the basis of your you'll get grades. So they'll on the basis of your performance you will be eligible for many other scholarships. You can apply for that. And one more thing, yeah, as I told you, the teaching assistantships over here, you can apply for that. That depends upon your supervisor, whether he allows you for that or not. Like, because like since I am into vaccinology and I will be doing my research in a different center, so I won't be for that because I won't get time for that teaching assistantship. So these TAs, they you will get and you'll earn from that like around 10,000 they provide you. So 10,000 CAD they provide you. So
Ma'am, like initially when you are moving, the stipend is like it's annual in nature. Maybe they are paying a monthly basis, like
yeah, yeah,
equal
yeah.
installments. So for
Mhm.
in starting basis, when you have to pay your fees, like there are you have to pay some amount of money for your fees.
Yeah,
So in starting, you have to be that is for yourself. You
yeah.
should
See
need
the
to have a buffer amount before moving, I think.
yeah, you need to have because you need to plan your travel. And right now, I mean, you need to plan your travel. That's one thing, and you need to get settled over here. So initially, the cost is you need to bear your own costs. because starting coming here, settling, you need to buy many things, like so yeah, you initially you need to buy, but as soon as you are into lab, here they are provided every uh, third Friday. Every Friday, third Friday, they uh, give you the fundings. And so in a way, and for the tuition, as you're asking, actually we can pay our here is there's a provision that we can pay the tuition fees in installments.
Okay.
So initially you need to pay a little extra for that, like $50 for the enrollment, and then you can pay your fees in installment, which will be a three installment or something. So that actually put you into a less burden.
So what's the estimated rough cost for settling up there for PhD, and how much liquid money do you have to show for visa?
See, I didn't have to show any money for my visa, because since I was having my funding letter, which actually said that you are getting this much amount per annum. That was one thing. Second thing, yeah, second thing what I did was, because that was enough, you have to just show that funding letter, and you have to provide an affidavit along with it, that which states that from your family, your parents, that the which states that you will be, if anything happens, like her expenses are enough for her to throughout her study period, but if anything happens, then we'll be providing that. So that funding letter and that affidavit is enough for you to go for your visa application. You don't need any other fundings to show the fundings.
Though you are residing in a university accommodation or taking a private apartment outside the university.
Yeah, actually, right now I'm residing in a university apartment. Here they have provided, the university has provided the residence to us, and yeah, it is. I would say I would have, because this actually was suggested to me by the seniors over here, that initially you should stay here because you don't know the area, you don't know the place. But I would say, if anyone who wants to, who just settles here, so he should actually look somewhere in the outside residence, because the outside residence you would be getting it into 550, 500, like per month, $500 or $550 per month, and this is a bit expensive over here. But it actually expensive because it is is the everything they are providing over here, the university residence. So
So, so ma'am, initially, do you require any WAS certification for your degree? Like some universities are keep on insisting that your document should be sent through WAS. So, for your
okay,
case, does it happen?
okay, the from the college you are asking, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
no, no.
that is
Huh.
WAS for converting
Yeah, yeah,
into
yeah.
Cgpa.
No, no, there was no problem with that. Actually, what I did from my college, like Pannagar and IVRI, I just asked them and submitted the application that this is my letter of acceptance from the university, and these are the things that I, the transcript and the degree certificate needs to get verified. So they just, there's a procedure for that. They need to pay for some fees, and they actually take that file, and it actually needs to be sealed from the registrar. So that's it. There was nothing required for that.
Okay, so they are not asking for WAS
No, no,
evaluation
no.
for
They didn't
some
ask.
degrees.
I
Okay,
think
okay.
some, yeah, some they asked, but here they didn't ask. They even did not ask me to send by post. They asked me that you can mail to us, because at the time of COVID,
So,
there was some issue with this thing. So they said that you can even, I mean, you can ask your university to mail them. So I had an option of that.
so ma'am, like the what when you are paying the application fees, like some places
Yeah.
like they are asking for PhD, they are asking for application
Mhm.
fees. So when you
Mhm.
are managing so much application, so do you are paying the application fees initially, or you are just mailing the professors?
No, no. The application fees will be only paid once you, once your supervisor accepts you, because you can't apply directly to. I mean, you can apply, but that there's no point in that, because you might because what I mean, like what I did was I mailed the supervisor. He accepted me. Then he told me that now you need to fill the application. So after that only, when I got the positive response, after that only I filled the university application. Yeah, there is a fee of $105 for that, but that you need to fill only after you are getting a positive response from any of the supervisor that he accepts you.
after getting a positive response? And when you are applying in Europe and UK,
Of
what?
for the Europe, and I think for the Europe it was the same. It was like he if once he accepts me, like in Belgium, then once the supervisor accepts me, then only I need to proceed, because you can't proceed without having a positive response, because you don't know, and you can't give that much amount of money to the university just to fill an application. I mean, for us, I'm telling about it's for us, like in that way.
Sometimes some professor used to ask to provide the statement of interest and cover letter. So how you will be differentiating in both the terminology, like if you have to write a cover letter and you have to write a statement of purpose simultaneously?
Yeah, see, the cover letter is actually a short, I would say it's a short description of your statement of purpose. It will actually include very shortly that why did you choose this? Like, you just need to elaborate, not elaborate, actually, you just need to jot out some points in that. Like, why you need to, why did you applied for, why Canada? And then why you applied to university of, like, whatever university you are applying for, why is that, and what are your expectations from the university, and what, that is actually a short thing. I mean, just a summary of cover letter is just a summary of your statement of purpose. Statement of purpose needs to be more elaborative. You need to elaborate those points. Like, for example, if I say I want to do research because I want to explore more, like something like that, like I want to learn about the vaccines and all. So I'll be just writing that in short in the cover letter. But the statement of purpose, I'll be explaining why I need that. I mean, I think you got my point, like that. That the statement of purpose is a bit elaborate. You need to elaborate those things in that, every aspect of that.
Okay. And when we are writing a mail and we have to attach a statement of purpose as well as cover letter, so the mailing, like the mailing content, what should we should need to differentiate in the mailing letter so it would look like unique. Um, like if you are writing a mail to a supervisor and he's asking that you should provide a statement of purpose and cover letter with your application. So does writing the mail is sufficient as a cover letter, or you have to provide it separately?
See, one thing you can do, you can actually attach it with your, I mean, you can join it into a single file, single PDF file, those all things. Like, start with a cover letter, then you will have a statement of purpose, then you'll have your CV attached with it, and then you'll have all other documents, which certificates, which will, uh, I mean, which you need to add with it. So you should make it into a PDF file. And yeah, but for the mail you need to write that thing. The thing is that you have to repeat all those things. You need to write in mail, you need to add those things, that is for sure. And what you can do, you can just start with a cover letter, then followed by cover letter you should have a statement of purpose, then you need to add your CV. So you can actually place them, that depends on the supervisor. When they ask you, you can actually place them in a single file, or you can just add a different statement of purpose in different CV in that way also.
So, like you had mentioned that if you have low Cgpa in masters, then you have to do
uh,
1 year for master and PhD.
yeah,
Is there any provision for bachelor students also if they are applying for master's degree in Canada? If somebody is scoring a score less than 75%, so how the supervisor will be compensated? Do you have any idea about this?
um I don't know about it, because actually that whether, because the grades, they are strict about the grades here. Like, um, that the minimum requirement that will be, but I think for undergraduation it's not actually 7, it's actually 6.5. I'm talking about this university. I
Okay,
think it's
okay.
6.5 for India. This actually depends country to country as well. You can just go to the site, you can check. Actually, they provide that what should be your minimum Cgpa, like that. I think it's
Okay.
6.5 for the undergraduation.
Okay.
But I don't know about it. The thing you asked, that whether there's some provision, I don't know, because they are strict about the grades. As my supervisor, when
Sometimes
he was,
maybe pre-masters like they are awarding. Maybe sometimes students used to ask that we are scoring less, do they accept or not? But they have
yeah,
a
yeah,
good curriculum vitae. They had done a lot of
yeah, yeah,
extracurricular
yeah.
things. There are some
That
when I with Vertigos used to receive such kind of queries. So I am asking
okay,
that.
okay, okay. Yeah, I myself don't know about it because since I was when I was having an interview with my supervisor, so he actually told me that eight in our system. So you'll so I was actually a bit anxious at what is the thing till I get my acceptance letter, because there was one acceptance letter which I got, and then I was enrolled into masters without me doing that. So that's the thing. So I mean, I'm sorry for that, that I don't know about this
No,
thing, that if your grades are low and
no.
that,
How, how's your
yeah,
interview experience? Like, what usually they used to ask in the interview? Like, if
yeah,
you
I
have
was
received a
expecting.
mail and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was actually expecting something very, like, I thought I actually even had studied many things. Like, I thought that what they will ask, like these all things. But no, the interview is very normal. They ask you basic things. They don't ask you much. They will not go deeper into the things. Like, they will not just go and talk about a particular technique going into details, although you won't be knowing that going into details. They don't talk that. They just it's a very informal talk. Actually, they like, in, I would not say about it, but like in India, there's something like your interview, you are like a bit nervous about it, but here it is, they make it so calm. They don't ask many things. Like, it's simple. They will ask you about where are you, how are you, like these all things. And few things they will ask, that what you have done in your masters, or what all experiences you have, just the techniques you need to name, just the techniques. They don't ask you deeper into that.
okay,
Yeah,
somebody is
if they have.
interested to knowing your IVRE experience. So, hey, somebody is writing, how was your IVRE experience and PG entrance strategy? How to get into IVRE regional station?
Sorry, how to get into.
IVRE regional stations.
Okay, regional stations. Okay, that actually will be this, since okay, regional station, this will be dependent on your supervisor. Like in your masters, whom do you take your guide? Whom you select as
Guide,
your guide? Yeah, that depends on that, because
guide
my
and
I took.
ranking.
Uh-huh.
Guide and ranking. Sometime in like
Yeah,
some
yeah, guide
go
and
to
rank.
Kolkata, both things matter. Yeah.
Yeah,
Both five
those things
senses.
matter. Actually, for me, I was actually first ranker in my program in that when I was in masters, but I took Mukteshwar, because Mukteshwar, I would say, for virology, it's very
That's
good for
is
research. Yeah,
that's for
so
viral and parasitical.
yeah, that's the thing. So in that way, and yeah, actually, usually students don't prefer going to these regional stations like Kolkata and going far away, because usually we don't have that much facilities over there, I think. So that, yeah, this actually depends
Having
upon the
MLB of IVR is not common everywhere.
yeah, yeah, that's the thing.
Okay, so please suggest, should we go for PhD directly or do PG first after UG in India?
See, I think you should go for the PG first. You should have uh, because immediately after undergraduation, going for a direct PhD is a bit. I would say you should go for a master's first, because that will actually give you a um, way how to do a basic research first. Then you can go for a PhD, because a PhD is something more, expects something more from you. And I think being a undergraduate student, you won't be giving up to those expectations which are expected from you in a PhD. So if I am asked, then I would say that first you go for a master's, then for a PhD. That's actually the how the way it is
Somebody is interested to know how to apply for masters or PhD in surgery.
in surgery. See, I think I actually don't have much idea about it because I'm into paramedic, this clinical part. So, but I think there might be some positions coming up. Like I think one of the persons, I think one of my batchmates, Saurabh Tiwari, would be delivering a webinar on this. Who will be delivering something on gynecology. So I think maybe he'll help you more in that.
Yeah, he is coming. He is having the last webinar due to his
Yeah.
family
That is
stuff.
actually, yeah, because he's into gynecology, so I think he will be knowing more about this surgery. Because I think since in my area you can either apply for the positions which are available in the university website, or you can directly mail the supervisor. I think that goes same for those as well, those subjects as well.
So next question is by Dr. Hemlata ma'am. What do we need to say when they ask, do you have any questions in interview code?
Yeah, this thing is very important. You should ask about what are you expected, what are their expectations from you. Like, first thing you need to ask, you should ask about the funding. There's nothing, because it's not like being a formal to them. They are so the culture is so different. We don't even call them ma'am or sir over here. We call them by the first name. So you don't need to get shy. You can ask anything that you feel like you can ask them about the funding. You can ask them how many hours you need to work, what is their expectations from you. And you can ask about the system, like what is it, because I'm from India, I've been studying there, and that's totally a different education system there, and here coming here would be difficult for me. So they will actually guide you that how the things are to be done, and everyone is helpful over here. So I would say that you can ask anything, like about the course. You should ask about the course, like what courses you need to register, and uh, and these, especially the funding thing, and the expectations of the from you. And you can even ask about how's the thing going on. I mean, the living and all, because I was the one who asked everything to my supervisor about it. So they are actually helpful. They ask you, it's, you never think that if I ask this question maybe they never think about it. They are helpful. They will surely help you with that. They don't mind it. Like, it's not like that. The culture is totally different here.
Any other? Okay. So do we ask all these questions in the very first call, ma'am?
Sorry.
Do we ask this all these questions in very first call?
No, see, the thing is, the first call means they'll call for your interview. So that will be, they'll ask from you. Now they'll say that what you need to ask. So you should ask about the funding, the lab setting, everything, that what is there, what is in their lab. I will be explaining you beforehand. And slowly, it actually depends how your interview goes. You should not straight away ask like that what is the living, how will I manage, these all things are the last thing to be asked. Like, first you should ask something about courses, like your like the funding and all, and the lab related things that you need to ask. And then comes the things like later on, because starting should be with something that is of more importance to you: a lab, your research, and your courses and your funding. And then comes the secondary things.
Any other questions? If somebody want to ask, they can unmute themselves and ask directly.
Yeah, you can ask me any other silly question that you have, like any other thing, because I understand that people have many queries, like they have many basic things they need to ask to us. So if anyone wants to ask, they can.
Ma'am, how was your preparation for IVRI?
Okay, how was your, yeah, actually I prepared it, started it from my fourth year of bachelor's. So by the time final year, I was just going on with the revisions. I had already decided that I have to take veterinary microbiology as my subject. So I had to give my exam in veterinary sciences. So what I did was I started studying books and making notes. And first I studied, because usually what students do, they start doing the questions. So what I did was I started taking up each subject. First I take veterinary pathology. I completed the subject, made the notes, revised them, then I did the questions. This way I completed one subject and completed all the question banks into it. Then and in this way I completed all the subjects, and final was the revision. I had my notes, I revised from them, and then you're good to go. You can do some mock tests, some exams like that. I mean, some papers which you have for the question banks. So you should not just start with the question bank and start doing the questions. You should actually read the subject first.
Okay, so if someone wants to permanently move to Canada and make a career there only, can you apply
Mhm.
for PR in Canada after completing PhD, or you need to apply for work visa first and spend more time in Canada?
See, one thing is, when you get a study permit, you actually get a 3 months more period for you after your after your completion of a degree program. So that is the time when you actually can involve yourself into a work, and you can actually, here we have to gain some points for getting a PR here. There are many things for the PR. So you can do one thing, that within 3 months you can actually get a work somewhere, and then you can apply for a PR. There's no like this that you need a work permit after that. The other thing is that once your visa is over for your study period, then you need to apply for a work permit. But beforehand only, you need to those 3 months you need to plan, and you need to get into somewhere, into work,
Thank you.
and then after that you can apply for a PR, like that way.
So I think every question has been covered. If still you have any other question, you may write to mail. You have a write a mail to ma'am or to me
Yeah,
or
yeah,
to our
sure.
team. We will definitely try to answer your query in the shortest possible time. Okay, so thank you everyone for attending the webinar and giving your time. Thank you so much, ma'am, for speaking in early morning. And
Oh, that's
sorry
no,
for ruining
it's
your Sunday.
actually a Sunday. No, there's no issue. Good.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, ma'am. So,
Okay,
thank you
thank you
so
so
much.
much. Yeah, thank you so much for providing me an opportunity to speak up with you people and tell about my experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Sir is Rahul Kataria, sir. He is the founder of Verticos.
Okay. Yeah, okay, thanks. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
Okay.
So, if somebody has any doubt, they can ask.